I'm going to stop. I'll just stop right there. Oh my goodness. Hey everybody. How's it going? It's been a while. It's been a little while. How are the kids? How's mom and dad? How are the relatives, the neighbors? Let's go outside and cook some barbecue. It's been too long. Yeah. Woo. Thank God I can do this. Let's hope, knock on wood. I'm not going to bother, but maybe you guys can. Maybe we'll have a consistent stream, no problems, right? Internet has been an issue. Yeah. No, surprise. So I had some of you ask me, what is the deal? Why are you still with Cox Internet if they give you so much grief? Here's the thing. I'm going to get you guys updated here, okay? And also the plan, the stream's going to be, I say 30. It's probably going to go 45 minutes, but bear with me. Back in December, early in December, I called Cox complaining again about more issues. This took me out for like 3 days. Sound familiar? So I was fed up and I called Ozark Go. I signed what they do. And if any of you have Ozark Go, maybe you're aware of this. And you can only get Ozark Go if you have Ozark Electric in Northwest Arkansas and I think Northeast Oklahoma, Southwest Missouri, so on and so forth. Wherever you get Ozark electricity. I call them up and I'm like, yo, I'm sick and tired of Cox, all the issues that I have. I've read really good stuff. Everyone I know that has you has no consistent, or always has, seemed to have consistent internet connection and, all that. I'm sacrificing speed, but I'm saving $30 a month. You guys don't have data caps. Oh, and maybe you won't have all the connection issues like I have with Cox. And they were like, yeah. So I had to sign a verbal agreement, I had to do the verbal agreement over the phone. That was early December. Went by their offices last week trying to figure out what's the timeline on this. Because I told them, I said, I'm not out here trying to gloat. I'm not out here trying to like, yeah, look at me. I've got a YouTube channel. Nothing like that. But I'm like, hey, when are you guys going to connect this shit? I didn't say that. The young lady was nice. I go, I have a thing that I do, and she looked at me, and she goes, are you a Twitch streamer? I was like, so apparently you guys are getting calls from Twitch streamers. I said, no, but I have a YouTube show, and Cox has caused me to miss, a bunch of shows. And so she said, we're working on it. We should. So long story short, we should have Ozark Go out here within by the end of the month. We'll see. And I'm going to put them through the ringer. I sit here and badmouth Cox all the time. And not everyone has this issue with Cox Internet. I get it. It's this side of Springdale. They have these things called nodes that think of it like a big 2-liter soda bottle. It's completely full. There's too much soda in the soda bottle. There's too many damn people connected to this node. And they won't come out and install a new one, however the hell you do that. Rub 2 sticks together. Throw your smartest tech people in the mix, and they make it all work. So I'm just sitting here waiting. And until then, and I don't know that Ozark Go is going to be much better. It could just be that this area is just SOL when it comes to solid internet connection. I don't know. But the good thing about Ozark Go, I know this is supposed to be a Razorback sports show, but it's tech talk. But they don't have a data cap. Cox does. So we have constantly are connected to the internet like everybody. We have Disney Plus, we have Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix. My PlayStation is constantly connected to the internet. And then I do these shows. And you have to have upload speed, right? So, and I don't ever have it. It's just been, I get to the point, I'm developing an ulcer talking about it with other people. I'm getting pissed off. I'm sick of it. People they'll send a technician out and they tell me the same damn thing every time. I really, at this point, it is what it is, and I just have to work around it. But I did get my internet back yesterday. Now, my download speeds were fine. We could stream stuff. My upload speeds were terrible, and you have to have upload speeds to do these live streams. If you don't have upload speeds, you can't do a damn thing. I can watch plenty of YouTube, but I can't upload any YouTube with no upload speeds. Okay, all right. Ugh. Ugh. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Please tap the like button. If you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. Check out all the links provided for you down below. Shout out, as always, to each and every one of you, but also the Patreon supporters. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And to anybody who's thrown a little tip in the old PayPal tip jar, that is also a link provided for you down below. The Hog Talk podcast link is down there as well. I really do appreciate you guys. Good to see you, Ty. It's good to see you, Alex. Good to see you. Pumped for that Texas game on Saturday. Hogs up, home, down. Oh, horns down. I don't have my glasses. I just realized. Yo, I made it, John. John, is it Hawes? I know you're in our Discord, but I don't know if to pronounce it as like Hawes, like he Hawes. I love Xfinity. I hear people talk about Xfinity, but I don't think it's available here. Robert Moore is a damn stud. I'm looking forward to seeing them on Saturday night. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Now, the name of that tournament, I had to ask the Hog Talk guys because I was like, what is the name of this tournament? The long word for it, and it was Jacob that bailed me out. It is the Shriners Classic that they're going to be playing down in Texas. Kyle made sure to note it's actually, the actual legal name is the Shriners Hospitals for Children College Classic. I need my glasses. Yeah. Oh, and I guess Bachelor's on tonight. You guys and your Bachelor, come on. Get off the Bachelors already. No, you do you. You do you. But there is a thing called DVR, just saying. I love it when people are like, oh, but my favorite show's on. Ty or my favorite show. And I'm like, you've got DVR. Stop by. Say hello. Tap a like or something. On a more serious note, Katrell Wallace hit with some charges today. Not a good look. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm saying I know nothing. You got to tread carefully here. I do believe in innocent until proven otherwise. But the accusations are pretty stifling. We have the link. Someone posted it in our Discord. You can go read it there. I'm not going to get into it other than it's sad for everybody involved. But he was hit with a couple of pretty serious charges. You hope that it's not true. We live in a world where we react first and actually read later. That's unfortunate. I just hope that, what can you really say? It's unfortunate. For if it is true, if there is any ounce of truth to it, he will he's obviously gonna miss out on a big part of his life. And then you got to think about the victim as well. It's just you just hope and pray that none of it's true. You just hope that it's wild accusations. I mean, really, when you get down to it, that's what you hope that it is. Because if it's not, it's the other thing, and that's terrible. But that's really all I'm going to say on it. Katrell Wallace, when you talk about what he was coming out of high school, is a big-time player. A lot of people would argue he might have been one of the best lower-rated, one of those kids that kind of got overlooked a little bit. I really liked him. I thought he was I said he's going to be a kid you hear about in the first couple of years on campus, I thought, one way or another. I thought he would either make rotation year one or a red shirt and then see year two, but how thin they are at certain positions, there's no doubt he'd probably be at least a rotator / special teams guy year one. You can't. It's hard to say that about kids coming into the SEC. It's hard to, it's not easy to do, even at a place like Arkansas where talent's real thin compared to the rest of the conference. It's even hard. It's hard to see year one on the field, get some actual on the field playing time, and I certainly think he was someone that was capable of doing just that. We've seen some pretty good freshmen last couple of years, hit the field. Bumper Pool was a freshman. Mathew Hestand last year. I think Colin Clay played a little bit, He was going to be one of those kids. I thought he'd be one of those guys that we'd hear about. You'd see him out on the field in some capacity. So, again, thoughts and prayers with everybody. It's really all I can say on it. I don't know. I haven't even done all the digging. I don't, because part of it, I just haven't had time. I saw it in our Discord. I saw it on Twitter. We posted it on Hog Talk on the Twitter. God, when was that? Just a couple hours ago, I think. 2 or 3 hours ago. And I just haven't had time to read all of it, but I've seen some of the highlights of what people are talking about in our chat, and it's just, so thoughts and prayers with everybody involved. Again, you hope none of it's true. So that's where we'll start. The bad. We'll get that out of the way. I wanted to get that out of the way first because it's sad. One way or another, it's sad. And we do live in this world where people react first. And that's really what's unfortunate. It doesn't matter the age. It seems to me like, especially when it's young men involved, people react first. It's kind of like shoot first, ask questions later, and that's where we're at. And people are out. This cancel culture it's a virus. It's unfortunate, but yeah. So moving on to the good news. Moving on to the positivity of the weekend. How about the Hogs? How about the baseball? How about them Diamond Hogs 7-0? I didn't think they would sweep Gonzaga because I thought Game 4. What Dave Van Horn likes to do is, I'm going to mess around with my bullpen. I'm going to mess around with the batting order, and I'm just, I'm going to make some changes here and there. I'm going to see what I have. We've already won the series. We've got 3 games. They've now taken the all-time lead over Gonzaga. What is it now? Is it 6-4 now, I think, all-time? Is that right? I don't know. Someone will correct me later, I'm sure. But we've taken that series lead. I'm sure Dave Van Horn was so concerned about that. But the important thing is you're up 6 games, on the year. You're 6-0. You're still getting plenty of respect in terms of top 10, top 15 voting, or just people from the media giving you a lot of respect. You're catching it everywhere, and from a positive standpoint, I really thought they were just going to throw Game 4 away and just kind of mess around and get things figured out on the back end, especially with these young arms in the bullpen. And they went out and they won. They swept them 4-0. They got a lot of respect. College Baseball Nation put out their power poll today, and they have Arkansas's number 1. Now, that's their power poll. That's not technically a ranking for them, but it's just, like with anything, with football, although you don't see the power polls as often after week 3 in football. Basketball, it kind of varies when you see power polls. They're not as common in basketball and football. Well, preseason football, you have preseason rankings, and then you have power polls. So, which is, I really don't, it's strange to me what a power poll really is. I guess it depends on the author of said power poll, but, overall strengths, I guess, versus where you're supposed to be ranked based on your schedule. I don't know. But anyways, it's good to see something. Arkansas in the top 10 of power polls of something. Because you haven't seen it in football and basketball in quite some time in terms of national respect. But D1 baseball, I think, put Arkansas right outside or right in the top 10. I think top 8. I think that's where they put. Or was that Baseball America? I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but regardless, none of this matters until we get into conference play. Until you get through Mississippi State on the road. Once you get towards the middle of that's when things really start to heat up and where you really know where you stand as far as how good of a baseball team you really are. All this is trivial. They're about to play in this Big 12 matchup, and we might get a pretty good taste too. And I wonder if Dave, we've seen him do this before in the past, even in games to us as fans that appear to be big-time games. Dave Van Horn doesn't treat them always the same. Like the SEC tournament, do you really think he gives a lick about the SEC tournament? Do you think he cares about this? And I'm not saying that the Children's Hospital and all that stuff isn't important, but do you think he really gives a damn about this upcoming series? I'm not sure that he does or not. I have seen him. I can remember when he first took over, people were criticizing him for making huge changes to the batting order, changing up his pitching rotation, and against what you would consider to be, or at least as a fan, a meaningful game. But to him, it's like I don't think anything matters until regular season conference play. Having said that, I want him to win these damn games. Anytime you play Big 12, especially Oklahoma, especially Texas, like you guys mentioned in chat, yeah, I want to whoop that ass. I want to whoop that ass. That's what I want to do with Texas. Anytime you play Texas, okay, that burnt orange is not allowed in this house. No, sirree. No burnt orange in here. We burn burnt orange. We make it more burnt orange. I'll stop. Yeah, so I wanted to look at the overall stats on the year so far. So technically, the highest batting average on the team belongs to Dominic Temez, but that's because he's had 3 at-bats, so he's batting at .667. But moving on, Christian Franklin has really been the biggest surprise. 25 at-bats. He's right at about a .440 average. That's not too bad. 7 RBIs. His on-base percentage sitting north of .530. That's good for what I think about second best in terms of guys with at least more than at least double-digit at-bats. Zach Gregory also is in the pecking order there. He's had 5 at-bats with a .400 average. But the real deal, Mr. Heston Kjerstad, who didn't blow us away in this series like I kind of thought he would. He's had 20 at-bats. His on-base percentage is .500. But, 393. So he's right around batting at .400 after 2 series with the Hogs through 7 games. Unfortunately, I haven't had my eyes on a lot of their games. I mean, they're just they're not the easiest things to catch. So I want to go to some games that, like I've said before, I'm going to try and get down to Baum Stadium soon when they return to who is their next home game, actually. Let's pull that up. Is it we got to get through. So we got to get through the Shriners. And then March 6th, my bad. March 3rd, they'll have Illinois State in a 1-game midweek matchup on March 3rd. And then they play a 3-game series at Baum Walker on March 6th, 7th, and 8th against South Alabama, and then you've got Grand Canyon, and then you're on the road to Mississippi State March 13th. Friday the 13th to take on Mississippi State on the road. That's going to be tough. I'm excited, though. I'm excited. Really am. So through 7 games, 7-0. You feel pretty good about the Shriners? I think so. I don't know much about Oklahoma, if I'm going to be real with you. I know that Texas and Baylor typically are pretty good at baseball. Oklahoma is one of those programs. It seems like they're kind of off and on. I don't know. Like I said, I don't keep up with really anything outside of the SEC when it comes to college baseball. I'm not even going to lie about it. So maybe they're all 3 elite. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting because we know there's a little bit of a history there with Oklahoma. They play Oklahoma twice this year, by the way. Texas will be on February 29th. So the Oklahoma game is on the 28th. And then, again, this is in Texas at a neutral site. Neutral, right. It's only the heart of the Big 12. But they're at Minute Maid Park down in Houston, February 28th, 29th, and March 1st. Oklahoma first, Texas, and then Baylor. Yeah, it'd be nice if they come out of the thing 3-0, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But, again, you're at home. So if you want to catch Arkansas at home, your next opportunity won't be until March 3rd against Illinois State, which right now is supposed to be on SEC+. That is the downside of YouTube TV. You don't get SEC+. I might be able to get access on ESPN, but I don't know. Just like going straight to their website, maybe. I think I caught some games there last year, actually, when they weren't on YouTube TV or wherever else I could go to ESPN because of my YouTube TV subscription. For whatever reason, you may not be able to get it on YouTube TV, but then you can go to ESPN back when they had the Watch app. Now they don't. You just go to ESPN's site, and sometimes it'll pull up there. But, so March 3rd. So what time? 3 p.m. That's on a Tuesday. Man, oh, man. South Alabama, not really much to get excited about either. Again, maybe they're an elite program. I don't know anything about them. Then you've got, again, Grand Canyon, Mississippi State. And you look at this schedule. I mean, it's, you're at Oklahoma after the Mississippi State series, and then you've got Alabama at home on March 20th. So that will be your opening home Baum Stadium SEC weekend against Alabama. So, again, that's March 20th. That's going to be biggin'. It's going to be a biggin'. Opening SEC weekend, for Arkansas at Baum. That's going to be awesome. And you got a real opportunity there to get some wins racked up because you got Troy. Although it's at Troy, someone's going to have to explain that to me. I know it's baseball. They got to make it work. You've got so many games you got to play, but at Troy, come on now. We're Arkansas. They should be coming here. This is Razorback baseball. Your ass should be coming here if you're a non-Power 5. That's where I'm at with it, though. That's ridiculous. 2-game midweek. 2-game series against Troy on the road, March 24th and 25th. You're on the road against Ole Miss. Ooh, on the road at Ole Miss. You got Oral Roberts. After that, to me, this sets up for a pretty crazy weekend because right after that, April 2nd, Thursday, you start off against Florida at Baum Walker in a 3-game series. So, okay, let me read chat really quick while you guys are rocking and rolling. Hey, Ty, what's up, Tim? How's it going, man? I'm really excited for what I think baseball can accomplish this season. Yeah, me too. I've still got them in the north of 40 neighborhood. Obviously, nothing's happened for me to change. Oh, yeah, on my modem, Azazian. Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? What hamster? What hamster? The Return of the King. TTV, your boy Judd. Yeah. No, not really. Robert Moore, stud. Yeah, Robert Moore, who got co-player of the week. Someone is going to have to explain that to me. That's back-to-back weeks of co. Is this just a thing? Is this what the SEC does? You just get co. That's just the title you get. I love Casey Martin, but I feel like he can't make a routine throw to first to save his life. Hopefully he can get on track soon with his hitting. He's kind of an anomaly. He's elite speed. Supposedly his bat speed is through the roof. Everyone brags about him. He's been tagged as this possible first rounder, but he's inconsistent at the plate, and he's going to rack up some errors out at shortstop. I don't know what his deal is. When he gets consistent, though, him and Kerstad, you remember last year, it was like, oh, okay, that's what Arkansas offers. That's, one way that they could make a third straight College World Series is if Martin gets it going. But they've been able, thank God, dropped all my stickers. Thank God they've got some other players stepping up. I mean, not surprising. Arkansas recruiting is just ridiculous. Arkansas recruiting in baseball is unlike anything else. Ever since Dave Van Horn, but especially the last several years. If you can get them on campus, avoid the MLBs, avoid Major League Baseball, try to convince them that, you know what, the SEC is a farming system for the major leagues, and that's proven, I think. When you can convince them of that, you can get them on campus. And, scholarship distribution works a little bit differently in baseball. But it's incredible how well Arkansas is able to go out in college baseball or go to these kids' homes. They're a household name for anybody who keeps up with college baseball. They are a household name. Unfortunately, it's a distant third in terms of the 3 major sports that people keep up with. But surgery on Casey, he's still rough, but he's going to get back on track. Yeah, I just never felt like he was ever on track has been my issue with Martin. He's very inconsistent at the plate. Not saying he's a bad player, at some point we have to entertain the thought of the kid moving to let's see. The only shortcoming I can see with baseball is pitching. This is from Alex Strecker. We are young. Gonzaga was no joke. By the way, they were picked to win their conference. For anybody who, I heard about that just the day they played Game 1. I had heard that they were picked to win their conference. Or maybe it was the day that I recorded the Pig Trail pod. I can't remember. We've got to get into Power 5 games to know what we have pitching-wise. I agree completely. He'll definitely be at short next year. Talking about more. He'll definitely be at short. Okay. Sucks the spring game. Okay. Yeah. Spring game. Hang on. Let me pick up my stickers. I got to pick up my stickers. Got them. It's our Hog Talk stickers. We're going to hand these out. I think I've showed these to you guys before. So originally the video was titled New Number 1 in the State. New number 1 player ranked in the state. So when I typed that out was actually when I was supposed to go live last week because they had moved 24/7 Sports had removed Terry Wells out of Wynne, Arkansas to the number 1 player in the state. And I just forgot to cut that out when I uploaded this live stream. So that's why there's no new number 1. I don't believe so. I think Terry Wells is still the number 2 player in the state. So in case you're wondering about that, yeah. Well, no, it says he's number 1, so I guess it still holds true. I thought I'd seen where they moved him back again. If you go to their main page, it shows him. It does show Drayden Norwood as the number 1 player, with Terry Wells number 2. But if you click on Terry Wells' account or his actual 24/7 page, nope, right there it says number 2. So I don't know what the deal is with that. So I guess, regardless, Brad Davis got him a good one. 6'4", 292. He is a 4-star according to 24/7 Star. Oh, I see what I'm looking at. 24/7 Sports, my bad. 24/7 Sports has him ranked as the number 1 player in the state. But the composite score had him at number 2. That's right. That's what it was. But Brad Davis got him a good one. We'll see if he can sign. If they do, I think they have, they missed out on some big-time tackles in this state the last 2 or 3 years, and it's time that comes to an end. And obviously with Wells, that could be the case. He's thought of pretty highly. But yeah, that's right. 24/7 Sports had moved him to number 1. I think before their first shift, he was like somewhere floating around in the top 5. But let me pull up. Your number 1 player composite is Norwood, Drayden Norwood, 6 foot, 175-pound corner, 4-star, Northside, Fort Smith, Arkansas. His big brother plays over at Oklahoma. No surprise there. Sounds like he could end up being a Razorback. He is actually crystal bald. Who crystal balled him? Let me guess. Danny West. I don't know because I'm not I can't see it. Okay. Well, anyways, he has a crystal ball to Arkansas. So, yeah, that was not correct in the title, so I had to go up and change it. Let's read the chat. How did you get the name Pictorial Network? It's confusing with this in Pictorial Nations. Enjoy the show, though. How did I get it? Brian, I just went in and typed it, big guy. I just went in and typed it in. That was the name that I chose. They don't have I've not gotten any cease and desist orders yet from Pictorial Nation. I'm waiting on it, though. Who am I? I'm a insect on their windshield, though, right? Marshall Denton came in with 2 on and 0 out, and he struck out 3 batters in a row. Yeah, Marshall Denton going to be special. Their bullpen is so intriguing this year because, again, you've got a combination of youth, but you have guys. You've got someone who came back from Tommy John surgery. There's a lot of interesting elements to this bullpen, and then you've got another freshman who might be in the rotation for Game 3, or might even be your starting pitcher. I doubt it. And then Game 1 and Game 2, you've got a couple of sophomores who were starting pitchers last year's freshmen, Connor Noland and Wicklander. You feel pretty good about your overall depth in the bullpen. My question has been, since coming into the season, some unproven arms. Unproven in SEC play. That's kind of been my point. We even shut Gonzaga out 5-0. Let's pull those scores up really quick. Yeah, you had Game 1, you won 7-5. Game 2, 9-3. 5-0 in game. Wait, that was Game 3. My bad. Game 3, you won 5-0. And then Game 4, you won 9-5. So you gave up 13 runs, but that's okay. Through 4 games, that's all right. That's okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. The SEC is like playing in the minor leagues. It is. I agree 100%. It really is. It is its own farm league. Yeah, between my Comcast Net and YouTube TV account, I've been able to watch all the Arkansas sports games. Nice. Very nice. William Watkins, don't think Moore will be at short next season. We'll see. Gonzaga also beat a ranked Oregon State team before they played at Auburn. Yeah, played it. They did. They actually split that series with Oregon State. Trey's cousin. Oh, is it cousin? Okay. I thought it was his big brother. My bad. So, yeah. Arkansas has the best name in college baseball. Oh, yeah, Zebulon Vermillion. Yeah, that's an interesting name too, isn't it? Zebulon. I bet his parents were a couple of hippies. What do you bet? Let's pull up here. Let's pull up here. We talked about the Shriners Classic. Well, let's wander on over to some basketball talk. I know that this is the best part about it because Arkansas's got themselves turned around a little bit, huh? We thought they'd be stuck at 16 wins. We weren't really sure if Isaiah Joe was going to be back before conference tournament play, and here they are with Isaiah Joe back, but well before conference tournament play. So you get a big win against Missouri. I hate to say that. I hate to say that Mizzou's a big win, but unfortunately that's what it is. Considering you lose that game, you probably kiss your chances goodbye, more than likely. Because then that also means you probably didn't get Isaiah Joe back. But you're going to have Joe 100% along with Witt, along with Mason Jones against Tennessee, something you didn't have on the road when Tennessee spanked them 82-61. Man, oh man, this is a big one. Your only quad one game that you have left in the year, though, is LSU, and you have that at home here in a couple of weeks. So, and then A&M to close the thing out. I'm done guessing. I don't know anymore. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make the NCAA tournament. At this point, I have no idea. Isaiah Joe is back. They didn't exactly get off to a great start. It really looked like for a minute that Mizzou might actually figure out a way to pull away. Arkansas, Arkansas is going to Arkansas sometimes on the floor, and they managed to pull back and take the lead and not really ever look back and stretch the thing out to a 10-point win. But then you look at what they were able to do. I mean, there's some things. Look, you got 17 off the bench from Desi Sills. That's not happened this year. And that was the only production you got from the bench. And the guy logged, that's a quality 33 minutes that you got out of Seals. Because he also got 3 rebounds. He got a steal. He got an assist. He did get, he got 3 fouls. But 17 points off the bench, you're going to take that no matter what. 6 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 6 from three-point range. Can you imagine if Seals shoots like this the rest of the year? I don't care how you do it. Whether it's off the bench or if you're going with a 4-guard lineup, I don't care how you do it. Can you imagine getting 30 quality minutes game in and game out to close this year out from Seals like that? All of a sudden, it takes that pressure off of Witt. It takes that pressure, a little bit of pressure off Isaiah Joe. But make no mistake about it, that happened because of Joe being back on the floor, who logged the second most minutes of anybody on that roster at 37. Witt with the most at 39. So looking at the numbers really quick, Arkansas shot 47% from the floor, 25 of 53 there, 12 of 25 from three-point range. If Arkansas is double digits shooting in three-point range, they're going to win the ball game. Duh. But 48% there. Then they shot relatively well at the free throw line, 16 of 20 at 80%. So your leading scorer, no surprise, Isaiah Joe. And with 21, we've been saying it. Jacob's been talking about it on the Hog Talk about spacing and how he's problematic in that sense with creating spacing and everything else. And there's nothing, when you don't have Joe on the floor, that's a huge chess piece not on the floor. Even if he's bricking, even if he's hitting the off the rim, if he's hitting brick after brick, it doesn't. It matters. It hurts. He's got to score. I get that. That's a valid argument. But when he's on the floor, he's a distraction, a major distraction for defenders. They have to completely change the way they handle the Razorbacks when Isaiah Joe's on the floor. And the only way Arkansas, when they were able to win without Isaiah Joe, was when Mason Jones could get ballsy and drive the lane, or when Mason Jones and Witt were getting after it and Bailey was doing what he's been doing all year. And we've seen some production from Bailey on the offensive side of things. He had 16, I think it was 16 in the last game and 11 points in this one. He had a block. 5 rebounds. He had an offensive rebound. And this is the other crazy thing. Mizzou with 10 offensive rebounds to Arkansas's 2. But 26 defensive rebounds to Arkansas's 21, putting them at 36 total rebounds to Arkansas's 23. But, again, if you're able to rotate out Seals with somebody with another – if you're going 4-guard, if you're trying to leave Bailey alone inside, whatever you do, when you have Joe on the floor, it greatly changes how teams defend Arkansas. And this is what they've been missing for these since he's been out. How many games did he miss? Was it 6? Thought I had that pulled up. I do not. But he's just such a huge part. For Mizzou, I was really surprised at how ineffective Nico really was in this one. Arkansas just, they D'd up on this kid pretty well, but it's not like he took a whole lot of shots. He only saw 19 minutes on the floor. I think last time he played Arkansas, I think he logged quite a bit more of that. Brown was their guy with the double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds. They had a couple of guys. So 3 out of their starting 5 in double digits, again with Brown with their leading scorer at 17. They got a little bit of production from their bench. Watson was their leading scorer with 7 points. He also had 2 total rebounds and a couple of he had a block. So their bench wasn't overly productive. But at the end of the day, both teams shot really well, actually. Both teams shot 16 to 20 at 80%. It was just, I think a lot of it was just the matchup factor with Isaiah Joe. When he's hitting 50%, 5 of 10 at three-point range, are you kidding me? So you do that the rest of the year. You get that kind of production from Seals. Bailey does what he does. I mean, look, Harris once again logs a bunch of minutes and effectively is ineffective. 3 points with 23 minutes, 0 rebounds, 3 turnovers, and 3 fouls with Harris. I don't know why people aren't on Harris a little bit more. But Witt, again, 6 of 12 from the floor with 14. It's a thing of beauty when you've got those 3 guys lined up, Witt, Joe, and Mason Jones, and you've got Seals coming in to help you out. It's just Arkansas is really hard to beat. If 2 of those guys are on fire or 2 of those guys are dialed in, it's good luck. It's tough to beat Arkansas from that point on. So you got Tennessee coming into town. It's going to be tough. It's an interesting matchup. Last time these 2 guys played, it was not fun for Arkansas. You lost 82-61. Jimmy Witt was your leading scorer with 19 points, but it was I can't pronounce that kid's last name. I think it's Vescovi with 20 points. That kid ripped him up pretty good, but he had 3 turnovers, but 20 points with only 1 rebound. They out-rebounded Arkansas on that one, a total of 40-29. But Arkansas shot 72% from the free throw line. They shot 80%. Effectively, shooting 50% from the floor is ridiculous. They shot 49%. It helps that they have unbelievable depth. I mean, they can rotate 10, 11 guys, and that's what they'll do. And that's one of the things that South Carolina had at Martin's disposal. He could rotate out the entire state of South Carolina. And when you got that much depth, foul trouble doesn't concern you. When Arkansas, thankfully they've got Joe back, and maybe that'll tilt the scales a little bit. But even with Joe, you're still going to be outsized and outmanned in total depth, especially against teams like Tennessee that have so much depth. Tennessee, not exactly going the way I think. Well, I mean, look, they're at 15-12. They're 7-7 in the SEC. That's not terrible, right? They're a really good defensive team. They are one of the elite defensive teams in all of college basketball. They're ranked 23rd in the country, giving up only 62.5 points a game. They don't score very well on the offensive end. They're at 66 points a game, ranking them near the back of college basketball. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. They move the ball around really well. Again, they have some advantages in this matchup. It's huge. It's another one of those games that you could argue. Every game to me is must win at this point. Joe Lunardi said while the SEC Network was airing the game, they brought Joe Lunardi on, and he thought, well, you've got LSU, which is your quad 1 win, but Arkansas is not out of it. I think, was it Florida last year that got into the NCAA tournament with 19 wins? I don't think that's going to be the case this year for Arkansas. I think they're going to need to get to 21. There's an opportunity here. I think it's absolutely possible that you could even make the tournament while still in regular season play. I mean, you're at 17 wins, right? I do think Tennessee's winnable because I don't think they're that good. They're okay, but their advantage, yes, size and depth, but you've got Isaiah Joe back at what we presume to be 100% on the road against Georgia. I think that, call me crazy, but they've beaten far better teams on the road than Georgia, who's sitting at 14-13 on the year. You've still got, well, of course, my internet wants to. You still got LSU, which is a quad one game, then you're on the road against A&M. That's what you have left. I think every one of these games are winnable, even LSU. Arkansas lost that game on the road by 2 points. One of the second worst officiated game of the year, and Arkansas should have won that game on the road. You're going to tell me with a healthy Witt, what we believe to be healthy, got to keep an eye on his back. Isaiah Joe back from his surgery, from his rehab. Mason Jones healthy, no shoulder issues. We're finally this is the healthiest they have been basically up until conference play, and they were beating folks. They played LSU damn good on the road. So if you don't think that these last 4 games are winnable for Arkansas, and those puts you in the tournament. That's 18, 19, 20, 21 wins right there. That's tournament. That's in. You're in. Does that happen? I don't know. There's been I still wasn't overly impressed. I know that was game 1 back from Mizzou for Isaiah Joe. They still look a little tad bit out of sync. There's just something missing there, but they did find a way to pull away and win by double digits. Who can complain about that? I'm not trying to. I'm just saying with all those guys healthy and with that roster back to as close to 100% as it's been, I thought they should have beaten Mizzou. I thought that should have been Arkansas's game to lose from start to finish, if I'm being honest. Mizzou's terrible. But, yeah, I don't know. I think you split these games, that puts you at 19, that adds that much more pressure into conference tournament play. Now you got to find a way to sneak out a couple of wins. In my opinion, to get to the conference champion, or to get to the NCAA tournament, to make the big dance, I think you probably need to, if you don't want to have to rely on the tournament, you got to win them all. And the likelihood of that is not real high. You win all but one, okay, you need to steal one in the tournament. You win all but 2 of these last 4, you need to go steal a couple in the SEC tournament. So, I don't know. I'm in the coin flip territory right now when it comes to the Razorbacks making the tournament. I'm out of they're completely out of it. When I took them out of it, they were on a losing streak, and Isaiah Joe's future was up in the air. I really didn't think everything that I had heard, this guy's going to be lucky to see SEC tournament play. He's back. He looks to be as close to 100% as he's been all year, and he goes out and he just lays it on him. With him being back, like we said, he causes issues for defenders. You got to defend Arkansas completely different. You could play out in the perimeter, tight man-to-man defense for a while, and then your guys get worn out. But you play teams like South Carolina, Tennessee, so on and so forth. I think Florida's got pretty good depth. When you play these teams that are full of depth, they're not as concerned of playing man-to-man defense and getting worn out for an entire 40 minutes. They'll do that if that's what it takes to shake Isaiah Joe off. But then what are you sacrificing by doing that? Arkansas's inside, they're smaller and quicker. So then that's why you see that switch. I tell you guys, I don't know why anybody plays 2-3 zone, that soft 2-3 zone on Arkansas, because Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones and Witt will rip it to shreds. But they do that to match Arkansas's quickness. That's why you also see teams sometimes try to match these faster guards that Arkansas have, right? Like they're trying to find that mismatch, and sometimes you'll give up easy inside points. You'll give up an easy inside point to a big because you don't have a big. We've talked about that every week. But, you're trying to find that mismatch somewhere, and it causes defenses to shift. That's all because of Isaiah Joe. I mean, really, and obviously Mason Jones, who's a baller, who may be playing his way into the NBA if he continues, if he has any more 40-point games, for sure. It's so huge. These last 4 games are so important. I'm not going to say if you lose one, you're out. I don't believe that. But if you lose 2 of your next 4, it's problematic, ladies and gentlemen. It's problematic. Tennessee, again, really good defensive team. They've got some playmakers. They've got some ballers. They're not great. They're a confusing team. They lost a close one to Florida State, but they beat VCU, who was ranked earlier this year, top 20. They lost a close one to Memphis before they had to get rid of their cheater. You know who I'm talking about. But on the road this year, they haven't, they dropped one to KU, which was actually not a terrible game, 74-68. They went on the road and lost to Georgia 80-63. They did beat Mizzou on the road. And I'm trying to look at their away games. they're like most teams. They struggle on the road, so hopefully Arkansas can take that advantage. Yeah, they lost to Cincinnati. I thought they had a bigger win earlier this year. Washington, when they were ranked top 20, yeah, they beat them. And I think that was a neutral site. I could be wrong. Maybe that was in Tennessee, but they won that one 75-62. They're another one of those teams that's just kind of done this year, right? Like you don't really know what to expect. They don't have anyone that blows you away from a scoring standpoint, but damn, they are good on defense. They are very good. So, all right. Okay. I rambled on there for a while. We need Joe to be 125% health for the SEC tournament, so the selection committee takes this serious. And that's the other thing too that you can argue to the selection committee is that Arkansas with a healthy Isaiah Joe, Witt, and Mason Jones, they're a tournament team. They are when they're healthy. They've unfortunately put a lot of pressure on themselves because of this losing streak and some other games you had no business losing, in my opinion, earlier this year. You've backed yourselves into a corner. When Isaiah Joe wasn't on the floor, you lost 5 straight. But with him healthy, now it's how do these guys react with these final few games left, and how do they respond in the SEC tournament if they have to? And make no mistake about it, you could argue that even at 21 wins, they may miss the tournament. Joe Lunardi only has, last I checked, 4 SEC teams in the NCAA tournament. So that's something worth keeping an eye on there with what Lunardi does. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's, that what Joe Lunardi says is the absolute, but, I don't know. You've definitely got to give him some credit. What's up, Ty? Just got off work. What's up, Mike? I know that was a while ago. I'm getting caught up here. Given that Tennessee was ranked at the beginning of the year, I would consider it to an okay/bad year. Okay. We can 100% win out. Yeah, and you can. I think with what you have, and again, this is the healthiest Arkansas has been all year. I mean, Isaiah Joe had 5 games or 6. How long was he out? 6, 7, whatever. He's had an extended period of time of rest. He's coming out of that knee being cleaned up. Witt is still logging the most minutes on the floor. I don't know what's up with his back. I don't know if he's 100%, but he's as close to he has to be healthy if he's logging those kind of minutes. And Mason Jones isn't complaining of his shoulder, and he hasn't been for weeks. This is the healthiest you've been. You can absolutely win out. I don't think that happens, but they're capable of doing it. If Harris doesn't attempt 360 pass, we beat Mississippi State. Ooh. Colt says we will win out. Okay. Colt, I'm going to have to screen cap that, and I'm going to hold you to it. Kyle D says, I'd love to win all 4 and win the tournament. Hopes for that. We need 5 more to get in my opinion. Tony says, we played all the top seeds in the SEC tournament teams close. If we play them, I think we could win. We won 21 regular season games. Oh, boy, Greg's throwing some history out here. In 2017, 2018, we won 21 regular season games, and we won 2 in the SEC tournament and got the 7th seed. Yeah. Jamario Bell, question mark. Where's he been? Where's Jamario Bell been, Tony? Has he logged any more than, what does he average on the year? A minute a game? I think Ethan Henderson has seen more time. I'd love to see Ethan Henderson get some quality minutes, even if it's just 6 or 7 minutes on the floor. I wish we could get quality, consistently get those kind of minutes out of him. We saw a game earlier. What game was that? Where Ethan Henderson came in, got 10 minutes, and got 8 points, a couple of rebounds. I think he had an assist or something. I'd like to see him do more of that, but he's wildly inconsistent. So where are we at time-wise? Oh, my gosh, it's almost an hour. If you have any questions, ask now or forever hold your peace, or until Friday night, assuming we have a show. 3-1 plus 1 in the SEC tournament. Patrick Champion says, I'd take that any day of the week, and I think that gets you in. I think that it does. Every year's different. This quadrant win stuff has changed things, and I do think, with the selection committee, humans, they make errors all the time, and Arkansas definitely has a pretty impressive resume, but that losing streak has, I think, kind of backed Arkansas into a corner a little bit. I think to lock it up, you have to win out. That's just my opinion. Ethan is transferring in the offseason, just saying, well, we don't know that. Probably, Tony, but we don't know that. You could make the argument if he stuck it out and didn't lose a scholarship or anything, that he could be developed into an okay player that could log some quality minutes down the road. But he was so highly recruited out of high school, and this is not what you expected to get out of him. And I do believe he probably ends up transferring. But we need to mentally prepare for the NITs and go deep in it. That's not how any team, especially in Arkansas situation, that's not going to be what they do. They want to play for the NCAA tournament. That's what I would rather than prepare for the NCAA tournament as players. Now, if you're talking to fans, that's one thing. I'll agree with that. Yeah, fans, the NITs would be a win. The NITs would be a win for this team. Talking to my dad on the phone, he for whatever reason, he doesn't like the NITs, and I get it. He called it I think he said something like the participation trophy tournament or whatever. Something to that effect. Sure, but year one under Musselman, no one even had these guys impose any kind of postseason play. So that's why it's a win for Arkansas, and it's more practice for these guys. All I know is if we make it, don't put us with North Carolina side of the bracket. That's very true. Would you rather go one and done in March Madness or win the NIT? Oh, Tony. I mean, I want to make the NCAA tournament, I don't know if you wonder, winning it all in the NITs, what does that get you? But what does one win in the NCAA tournament get you, right? Like, it helps for Musselman's resume. If you want to argue, oh, well, look, year one he made the tournament, which would be huge, would be gigantic. Making it versus winning it all in the NIT, or making the NCAA tournament versus winning it all in the NITs. I'm not even going to. I'm talking about the fans, says Alex. Yeah, and I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with being mentally prepared for the NITs, because that way, it's like going into a movie when you have super high expectations. I did this with short story. If you've ever heard of The Watchmen, okay, famous comic book written back in the 80s by a genius writer, in my opinion. But they turned it into a movie, and I knew there was comics, but I never read the comics. I was expecting like some Iron Man, Batman, like that kind. It's not that. It's more of a political movie than it is an action, thriller movie like the Marvel movies or whatever. But when it came out, Marvel wasn't what it is now. And I think Iron Man had just come out just before that, if I remember right. So I was expecting something like that. I went in totally expecting it to be great, walked out so disappointed. Now, it's one of those movies that set in the back of my mind, and now I love it. I love The Watchmen. It's like one of my favorite movies ever. But so, you do that. You go into these movies with high expectations. Don't do that to yourself. I'm learning to go in with a level mind of thought into every movie. It's just, and then you got to accept movies for what they are, right? Like a comic book movie, it's going to be a comic book movie. Don't expect, Oscar-worthy attempts here. The HBO show was Yeah, I want to watch that, actually. I'm glad you said that, Dylan. I do want to catch it. I heard they get a little, I won't get into it. If small schools get paid big bucks to come and play us, what is Troy offering? A spot on Sunbelt TV Eastern Alabama station. We will at least get U of ALR in the tourney. I think we go. Justin Potts says I think we go 3-1, but win against LSU, 2 wins in the tourney, and get invited to the dance. Ooh, I'll take it, baby. I'll take it. I'm telling you guys, NITs are fine for year one. Before the regular season, my preseason pick was like 14 to 15 wins. They have exceeded that. For me, everything they're doing is like icing on the top because they've blown away the expectations. Now, if they lose out from here on, maybe I'll change my mind on that. You're losing to teams you have no business losing to when you consider what they've done so far this year. And I don't think that happens. I definitely don't think they lose out. But I better knock on some wood. I know it. I've been accused of jinxing the Hogs before. Anything else, though, for me, wins-wise, is like icing on the cake. And I'll take the NITs. I'll take them. And I'll cover them. And we'll talk about them. I'll have post-game shows after every NIT game if that's the case. Even if it's just one, obviously, because then that's all you could do is one post-game show. But that's exactly what I'll do because I'll take it. NITs or bust. As far as I'm concerned, I'll get excited about it because they weren't supposed to do that. That's all I'm saying. Competing in any tournament is a positive for me. I agree, Dylan, 100%. Our seed and our speed. I'm telling you guys, I need my glasses. I was like, our seed. Our speed and conditioning is a problem to deal with in a tourney setting. Speed is going to be a problem. I don't know that Arkansas is really built for tournament play, though. That's kind of my concern when and if they make tournament. What I think is going to happen is that we'll go to the tourney and St. John win their tourney and we eventually play each other in the tournament. Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh. One is better than none. I'll take it, Dylan. 100%. 100. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It was so good to be back. I'm so happy I was able to stream tonight. I'm not lying. I've been kind of anxious about it all day. I've been keeping up with my internet speeds. Happy I could be here with you. Wanted to do some post-game stuff, especially after their last game, and just unable to do it. But I'm glad that I'm back. Let's hope that it stays that way. But you never know. I get pretty pissed off when my internet doesn't work. The problem is height. Can't fix that till next season. 100%. I agree. NIT is not in tournament, and the CBI it couldn't be invited. I want that NCAA. Celtics, again, it's more about they weren't ever picked to make any postseason play for me. I don't give a damn what people consider to be this or that. What matters to me is that you've made the NITs. Nobody had you even doing that, and you've exceeded expectations if you do make the NITs. I get you, though. I agree. I want to make the NCAA tournament. I'm all about that, of course. But I'm going to take the NITs as a definite sign of better things to come down the road. So thanks, Ty, for the great show. Hey, I appreciate it, Tony. I appreciate all your questions and your comments, as always. Remember to tap the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. Check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. And to all the Patreon supporters, you guys are rock stars. I appreciate every one of you. To everyone who donated to the PayPal, thank you. It really means a lot to me. And check out the Hog Talk podcast. The latest episode is it's waiting on you. And do me a favor. If you guys do listen, even if you don't, but maybe you've listened to the Hog Talk before, but you're a little bit behind, that's okay. Do me a favor and go give us some star power. If you're on iTunes, go give us some star. We're like, I think 1 or 2 votes shy of 50 total votes. The more votes we get, the more we get racked up. When you search for podcasts on iTunes, we'll pop up. It'll be more common that you'll see our name. You know, we're up against some big names in the Arkansas podcast world, and we want to. That's why we do what we do. You know, we want to provide you with great content, but we want everyone to have access to our content, even people who don't know who we are. So when they go to iTunes, they type in Razorbacks on the iTunes on Apple, and we don't pop up. It's because you just don't have enough star votes, or at least that's what we've been told. So do us a favor, pull your phone out really quick. You don't have to listen to an episode. Just give us some star power. I'd really appreciate it. It'd help us out. We put a lot of work into that. We get a lot of shade thrown at us, especially the last week or so. We've had shade thrown at us. I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea. I guess that's what happens when you gain some followers on social media. People get envious and throw shade at you. It's part of it. I'm 36 though. I ain't got time for all this shit, for all the mud flinging. Just do us a favor. Go give us some star power over on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it if we could break that 50 mold. And maybe beyond that it'd be wonderful. But thank you guys for downloading and listening over on the Hog Talk, as well as along with those of you who are here. So that's it. Hopefully the plan is to go live Friday night. That's the plan. Things could change. I'll try to keep you up to date on social media. Until then, woo pig suey, go Hogs! Yes, sir. I just said that.